Kia ora koutou, ko Angela Caves toka wingoa, nor mai haere mai. Welcome to the Waikato Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name is Angela Caves and I am the Digital Events Manager with Digital Boost. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us today. It's wonderful to have you here. I'd like to welcome our audience who are joining us via a live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube, and welcome to our audience who have joined us here in the live webinar. Our conference sessions are being recorded and they will be uploaded to YouTube for post-event viewing, and we will distribute a link to all registered attendees to view at your leisure. This session is session 9 on 3 of our conference, where we're going to be joined by Amotai. Before I introduce our presenters though, I just want a quick note for our audience joining us in the webinar. You can see and hear us, but we can't see nor hear you. So please feel free to interact with us using the chat functionality. So if you pop any messages into the chat, they'll come directly through to the hosts. Or the Q&A function is available as well, and you can ask your questions anonymously if you prefer. It's now my pleasure to welcome Paul and Stuart. Paul and Stuart are Regional Supplier Diversity Leads for Amotai. So welcome, Paul and Stuart. Over to you guys.
Tēnei te mihi kia koe, Angela, ai te whakapōwhiri ana mātou kia tēnei ipurangi, wānanga a ipurangi, ka nui te mihi kia koe. Kia koutou, tēnei te mihi kia koutou kua tai mai, I te whakarongo I te whakaako o tātou kaupapa I tēnei rā. Tuatahi, ka nui te mihi ki ngā atua, nānei hanga ngā mea katoa, tuarua, ka honere ki tātou kingi rātou ko te whānau kāhui ariki, pai mārire. Ki ngā mate, moe mai rā ki roto I ngā ringa kaha o tā mātou matua I te rangi. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora koutou katoa. So, kia ora everybody, wonderful to be here. My name is Paul Tukukino. I am the Supply Diversity Lead for Bay of Plenty, and I've been privileged to work with Angela over these last few conferences and sharing the kaupapa of Amotai with our Aotearoa whānau. So we're here with the Waikato region, so I whakapapa to Waikato Tainui. My hapu is Ngāti Whawhakia at the back of Huntly. So really awesome to be here and to talk to my whānau as well. But here I live outside of this rohe at the moment, so I've brought along my tuakana, my rangatira, Stuart Lawrence, who is the Supply Diversity Lead. So I'll give him a quick opportunity to introduce himself, and then we'll get into the presentation. Kia ora, Uncle Stu.
Kia ora, Paul. Kia ora koutou whānau, ko inuku te iwi, ko rua tipu atu tupuna, ko rua pau te maunga, ko whanganui te awa, ko tawata te kainga o Ngāti Tuuri, ko te kere ngā taero te tangata, ko Doreen tomo kia ngā taero taku whaia, ko Barrett Stanley Lawrence taku mātua, no Ngāti Pākehā, no Germany, no England, and a little bit of Irish. Ko Stuart Lawrence tuku ingoa, ko Manu Huia, Supply Diversity Lead here in the Waikato. Lovely to meet you, whānau, and hail out of Kahununu actually, but my mum comes from a little place called Raitihi, the centre of her universe, and but mostly my life's been in Kahununu, now here resident in Waikato, and working with them. So family of 5 boys and a good wife. So kia ora whānau, nice to meet you all.
Beautiful. So what we're going to do, te whānau, with all of our formalities taking place, just a bit of a mihi as well around mahuru Māori. So kia kaha te reo Māori, kia whakanuia te reo Māori, hari mahuru Māori as well. So just, make the Māori language strong, celebrate the Māori language, and enjoy or happy Māori language month. But we're going to get into our kaupapa today, so I'm going to get this tech savvy stuff happening. And we're looking forward to sharing the kaupapa of Amotai. So tuatahi kei raro I te kaupapa o Mahuru Māori, so under the purpose of Mahuru Māori, Amotai. If we were to talk about that ingoa or that name, Amotai is the swelling of the tide. And so the swelling of the tide, when we talk about it, is about tide that raises all of the waka and our waka are our Māori Pacifica businesses. So that's the space that Amotai plays in. We play a very specific space of supporting and helping to raise the wealth of Māori Pacific business across Aotearoa. So supply diversity Aotearoa is the kind of lane that we swim in, and we're going to teach you a bit about that as we go through the presentation. But tērā te kaupapa, tērā te manawa or Amotai, that's the purpose or the meaning behind the word Amotai. Okay, I'm going to go manual here. Cool. So we play in under a space called social procurement. So when I got into business a little while ago, procurement, I had no idea what that meant. So basically procurement is the act of buying and selling of services, right? So when we put a social in front of it, that kind of translates into the act of buying and selling services for socioeconomic growth, benefit, development. So there's a socioeconomic benefit towards the way that we buy and sell things. And I think, as we go through today, social procurement has a very wide banner. And even in today's landscape, we hear the government have brought out a term called progressive procurement. We play in supplier diversity. So if we look at this chart here, we can see that social procurement has a whole range of different things: community build, cultural, employment outcomes, skills and training. Supplier diversity is a space, and supplier development is a space under social procurement, and that's the space that Amotai plays in. So what that means is that we deal with businesses. So if you look at skills and training, that's very specifically staff and employee. Employment outcomes is like how hiring people into your business. We actually help businesses to contract to private and government opportunities. So that's what supply diversity is. As a bit of an easier way to help us understand what supply diversity is, we love sharing this video. It just gives a really nice overview of what Amotai does. So sit back and relax, whānau, and we can progress with this video.
Supplier diversity is a global practice. Here in Aotearoa, our experience is that Māori and Pacifica businesses are the untapped change agents in creating a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. Business is one of the main ways Māori and Pacifica can build wealth for their families and communities. That's why we advocate for supplier diversity, getting more Māori and Pacifica businesses contract opportunities with government agencies, local councils, private enterprises, iwi and other not-for-profit organisations. Supplier diversity is a strategic and intentional business process that proactively engages, supports and enables businesses owned by Indigenous people, minority groups, women and social enterprises to be engaged in business-to-business supply chains. Here in Aotearoa, supplier diversity specifically focuses on Māori and Pacifica businesses. Its aim is to level the playing field so these businesses have fairer access to customers and markets. By diversifying your spend, you open up incredible benefits not just for the organisations you contract, but for your own organisation as well. Supplier diversity enables this to happen and supports economic development not just for Māori and Pacifica communities, but for Aotearoa as a whole. When Māori and Pacifica communities prosper, we all prosper. A Māori business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings by someone who has whakapapa Māori. A Pacifica business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings held by someone who has Indigenous whakapapa links to the Pacifica nations. Supplier diversity helps to close the wealth gap in Aotearoa, create more employment opportunities for Māori and Pacifica people, create more Māori and Pacifica role models, grow more Māori and Pacifica businesses, drive innovation, and much more. Creating quality supplier diversity programs is also a major competitive advantage and can lead to winning more work, accessing new revenue streams and new markets. So, how does it work? Amotai is the supplier diversity intermediary and experts in supplier diversity in Aotearoa. We connect Māori and Pacifica businesses to contract opportunities. Māori and Pacifica businesses register with Amotai for free. Their business ownership is verified by our verification team, and we connect with each business to learn more about their services and business journey. Buyers that want to buy from Māori and Pacifica businesses subscribe to Amotai and can choose the level of support they require to connect and purchase from Amotai businesses. Having one verified database makes it easy for buying organisations to search for Māori and Pacifica businesses by region and category of work and purchase from those businesses. Supplier diversity creates a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. The tide is turning. Join Amotai, Supplier Diversity Aotearoa.
So for us, if we can go to the next slide. Nope. Don't. There. Oh, there we go. There we go. Cool. So some pretty key elements in the video. One, it talks about what qualifies a Māori Pacifica business, and the other one is about the two groups of people that we have on the database, and one are the buyers and the other are the suppliers. So Amotai was created and is the mandated government agency, mandated government organization to facilitate the realization of the 5% procurement policy. And so government spend put out is all about how we connect our Māori Pacifica verified businesses by the 50% verification towards the government spend opportunities or contracting opportunities that, excuse me. Sorry, that the government has available. So we exist to make that connect. And this is how it works. And I might shoot it over to Uncle Stu to take care of these next couple of slides while I get this out of my throat. Sorry.
So our functional role is, what do? We provide support to buyers by implementing supplier diversity. So on one stage, we have the buyers who are looking to, and the word is buy the services or procure the services of some of the suppliers. Part of their mandate is to work with specifically Māori and Pacifica businesses. So they come to Amotai that has that 50% threshold for Māori and Pacifica businesses. And as part of that, we maintain a database of all our Māori and Pacifica suppliers across all the industries. We connect them, so they come to us and says, Stewie, we'd love to get a number of contracts we've got going here, and it could be in any sector, but for one of a thing, we'll use construction. We're building a whole lot of homes over here. Who are your buyers, your painters, and all the trades associated with that? So we'll put together a list that are of a local, in our case, Waikato, or local suppliers in terms of construction space, painting, decorating, plumbing, all the trade services. And then they'll go through and they'll have a look at it. They have some requirements around health and safety on that, and we'll support them by giving them that list. And the hope is that they'll come back and make contact with all those preferred suppliers that we've put to them. So that's really that's the lane that we swim in, because we've got to be very careful, because we're going to make sure we're not conflicted as well. Pauline, next one, please. So here's just some of the stats, and every stat tells a story. So we know that Amotai businesses employ 3 times more Māori and Pacifica than any other business. But hey, we have 14,000 full-time equivalents within the Amotai business. 67% of them are Māori and Pacifica. So there's a really good rate. So every business of the 1,300 businesses, there's around 11 employees per business. It's really good stats. Thanks, Paul. So here's some of our buyers, just for a visual optically. That's just some of the buyers. All government agencies and others are mandated. They do need to look at how they're coming into Amotai to look at how they can spend their money in that diversity, i.e. Māori and Pacifica space, which is our suppliers, which could be you in this case. Kia ora, Paul.
So just recently, a practical example we thought we'd share with you all is how do we actually do our connecting of buyers and suppliers? So this is a event that was held up in Auckland about a month ago now, and we had 14 buyers in the room and about 120 businesses show up to have that conversation, to start that relationship with our buyers. So this was held out in Auckland, and so yeah, we had I think about 250 people there that night. Uncle Stu had a few illness issues that night, so he couldn't make it, but it was a great turnout, and we had some really cool business go down, some great connections and development of relationships in that evening as well. And so this is some of our team with one of our buyers, really active buyer right now with Pika. And so Uncle's got a couple of opportunities that they've been working together with, and I'll pass it back over to Uncle to talk about those opportunities within the Waikato region that we're working on right now.
Kia ora, Paulie. So Becca's one of the buyers that we work with, and they're looking at opportunities. They're saying, Stu, can you provide us with some cafes? We want to look at our spending. Actually, we want to work with some of the businesses that you have, and we want to support them through the cafes. Have you got those that can provide food services, breakfast, or events for them as well? On top of that, this is, have you got any car cleaning business? And then on top of that, plumbing and handyman. So they're really clear. I says, we just want to try and pick up the low hanging fruit. When the bigger stuff comes around, happy to have that discussion, but let's have the small fruit and opportunities for a lot of our smaller businesses that may never get an opportunity to act in there. On top of that, we have MOE, and MOE, or Ministry of Education, I should use that properly. They're looking at projects here in Waikato around cladding, recladding, cleansing down of a number of buildings in this area. So they've just asked, can you provide us with some businesses that could work in this space that are local to Waikato? So we're helping that economy within the economy work, as well as there's some other bigger projects coming on, and all of these early next year in terms of weatherproofing a number of schools and working in those spaces. We also work with 3 iwi in the space. We're working with Waikato University, who are a buyer. 3 iwis are buyers, and iwi are suppliers as well. But in this case, our iwi are keen to work with Māori and Pacifica business, as is Waikato, who've just joined the space, or Waikato University, the regional, we have our regional council here and our district council, Waipa, that are members and buyers within the space. And they're looking for opportunities. Look, all these buyers are now becoming a little more understanding, actually want to understand the reo just as importantly as some of us do, and work around the tikanga spaces. So there's nationwide companies like Becca and others that are looking for suppliers that can provide them with that education space. Thank you, Paulie. And this is our regional team, all pretty good looking. Probably the finest looking one there is the one who's got no hair, but that's my opinion. But this is our team. We covered right throughout Aotearoa, and all willing and wanting to help and support whoever they are. Everyone is there just to say, and we all work together, whānau, and that's about it. And so if you need me, there's my contact details. Feel free to give me a call, email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you, whānau. Paulie, back to you.
Right. Well, that's kind of the high level overview. We're trialing a new presentation format. In the previous conferences that I've presented, we've had a bit longer, but we've had to cut it down this one, which has been cool, been really good, short, succinct, to the point. And so I can see there's a few questions in the chat, so I'd hand it back over to Angela and Chris, and we'd love to have a Q&A with anyone that wants to have a kōrero.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Paul and Stuart, for your kōrero in regards to Amotai. Some really interesting information. Thanks heaps for that. Yeah, there have been some questions that have come through for you guys this afternoon. How does someone register for Amotai?
Really? So
Oh, we might have lost Paulie there.
Okay, let me
I think
we
pick
might
up
have, yeah.
there. So there's a link in Amotai, and everybody needs it. I'm happy to send a link out. Just go into Amotai, www.amotai, and have a look on there, register. It'll take 7 to 9 minutes. In whānau, it's free. There's no cost to you as a supplier around the space. We're really happy to give everybody a bit of a foot up and support you around your aspirations. But the lane we do swim is, don't go away from your normal business. Keep doing the trudging work and all the other stuff. Where there is another string to your bow to support you in other opportunities that you may not have been afforded, and so as an organization, our role is to support some of the aspirations that you may have by connecting with our buyers. Paulie, anything you want to add to that?
No, yeah, so it's just top right-hand corner of our website. There's a drop-down menu and it says become an Amotai supplier. So really simple way, and like Uncle said, 7 to 9 minute session, and it is very high level whānau. I've been getting a couple of feedback from some suppliers that I've been encouraging to join, and they're like, oh, I don't have like all my financials, I don't have all my policies and things like that. It's like, it's just what do you have? It's a drop down menu. It's like, oh, we're in the 200 to 500k realm, or we have $2 million liability insurance. So it's not about we want your policy number or anything like that. It's just a high level snapshot to help us understand a bit more about your business from your registration details.
And I think, Paulie, the other part, whānau, is that we need to ensure that you're a verified business, to go to our buyers, to saying, hey, we are bringing good businesses to you. So it's a two-way street. We're just making sure, and importantly, you are Māori Pacifica, and we want to advocate for you and with you.
Cool. Hey, thanks for pointing that out. That was really cool, making that clear too. Just another question. What kind of businesses is Amotai looking for? I know you said Māori and Pacifica, but what type of businesses?
Yeah, well, Amotai was born in the boom of the infrastructure and construction business spend, right? So we started off very heavily in that space. I think when I first joined Amotai as a business member, it was about 51% with infrastructure and construction. But as Uncle mentioned in the contracts that are coming through, our buyers are thinking outside of project spend and looking at organizational spend. So that could range from cleaning to catering to consultancy to engineering. NZDF right now, they're looking for, frigate builders. So if you have any capacity in building big ships and things, all the ministries want to spend with Māori businesses in any way they can. So we're basically looking for any business that's 50% owned by Māori or Pacifica, Chris. Oh, Craig, sorry. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Just another question that's come through. Who are some of the buyers and what types of contracts are there with Amotai?
You want to take that one, Uncle?
Sure. Look, there's 150, well, actually just over 203 buyers that we have, from government agencies to private organisations, such as your Downers, as you saw the picture back there earlier. There's a lot of buyers. What sort of contracts? Well, they range from under 200,000, 100,000 up to $100 million projects, depending on what parts you play and the size of your organisation, whether you want to be a tier 1 business. There's a lot more work around that space. But what I do advocate is that a lot of the buyers are looking about how can they work better with our suppliers to support them into opportunities like this. So we discuss the project, but more importantly, we discuss how do we make that project not a 40-page document. How do we break part of it off and says, hey, we've got smaller suppliers that could do a really good job and they fit that. So let's talk about how we go around the procurement process and break it off and says, well, if they meet all those requirements, why are we writing a 40-page document? So our buyers are very keen to work with us and support a way of procuring work that may be diverse and different to what normal practice has been. Cool. You may want to add to that.
If I could just quickly, Craig, I like to contextualize things as well. So it could be as simple as a 19-litre keg of kombucha in an office, to as big as $20,000 steel infrastructure installation at a regional bank, right? So when we have big projects, they could subcontract for big parts of the project, but I'm really passionate about helping our all of our businesses. So, I think going back to what type of businesses, doesn't matter if you're a startup, if you're, kind of on the growth space, or you're actually very mature. We want to try and find contracts, and our buyers actually starting to understand of what they can do. And I had a meeting with my council just this week, and they were like, well, if we've got, we can they talk about this thing called unbundling. We've got a contract. How about if we unbundle this? So, a 2-man concreting outfit can do maybe 15 bus stations, shelters, right? Instead of giving the whole contract to, a big tier 1 organization that can do it. So it's a very range, and that's kind of what we love as Supply Diversity Lead, to get to work with the buyers to help them see different ways to procure.
Sounds really interesting. Hey, thanks, Paul and Stuart, for your time today and your talk. I'm just going to hand you back over to Angela, who will take it from here.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, thanks, Paul and Stuart. Every time I have you guys on, I'm really in awe of the work that you're doing in that space, supporting Māori and Pacifica business. And I guess just for my own curiosity, remind me, Paul, so your suppliers, if you sign up to be a supplier, you tee them up with the buyers, but they also get access to kind of work with each other as well. So you've got that database of your big procurement ones, but they can work with each other, right?
Yeah, I had a really good example of that. Thanks, Angela. Because as a part of our onboarding process for new suppliers, Uncle Stu and I love doing these. It's called mihi whakato, where we actually get to take you out for a bit of a coffee and a cake and have a kōrero about you and your business. And I was sitting with a risk consultancy business that deals specifically in de-escalation, crisis situations, all that kind of stuff. And they were looking for a graphic designer. 1 week later, I'm sitting down with a Māori graphic designing company. I'm like, you need to email this person, and so I'm all about that, and how we can create that supplier to supplier business chain as well. We want Māori to buy Māori, Pacifica to buy Pacifica, Māori to buy Pacifica, as well as having the big contracts coming in as well.
Awesome.
Can I just add a bit to that, Angela?
Oh, of course.
I think there's a real good part is first contact is you may wish to go onto the Amotai and link. The second part is give us a ring. If you just want to have a kōrero, let's have a kōrero. If you want to join, we do that, the whakato once you've joined, of course, but we're happy to meet prior to you having any questions or concerns that you may have, but happy to meet, either give me a call, I'm happy to have a talk and do that. And look, we have whakatos up here in Waikato, and we know people are time poor, so it's nothing to do with whakato at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, or 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just about what makes it work, and we just got to make sure we give opportunity to those that would like to take that opportunity. Thank you, Angela.
No problem. Thank you. So that was in response to that question that came through the Q&A. Thanks so much for doing that, Stuart. Appreciate that. So I did drop Stuart's number in the chat. So, pick up the phone, give him a wee call, and start those conversations.
Is it? Are we back? I did a mihi whakato with him at like 6 a.m. in the morning. So he's ready to do those mihi whakato whenever it suits you.
Hi.
Awesome. I don't see anything else that has come through. So I just want to say a huge thank you to the Amotai team for joining us on this journey. We've done a number of these sessions together, and it's wonderful to have you here for showing us the support that's available in the Waikato region. So thank you again for joining us. I would just like to make a wee plug in here for my colleague over there at Connected, Craig, who asked the questions earlier. You're perhaps not ready to make contact with any of the organisations that you've kind of met with, and you're just kind of seeing what's out there, and then in a few months' time you think, oh, I need to, I remember I went to this session, and you don't know where to start, please head over to Connected. Craig is that one-stop shop, and he is the conduit of support. So he will be able to introduce you to the likes of Stuart and Paul at Amotai and any of the other organisations that are joining us in this conference. Digital Boost is also part of that ecosystem. We are here to support you on your digital transformation journey. Our learning platform is free, and there is a lot of resources on there. Checkable is our latest tool. So if you would like a full diagnostic of your digital footprint, please use Checkable. It is free as part of the platform. It will take stock of where you're at and then give you some recommendations on how to optimize your current digital services. We are fortunate to be the first to be able to share the competition that we've got running. So if you are not a Digital Boost user, please sign up to our platform and you can be in the draw to win a prize worth $25,000, $15,000 on digital marketing, brand new office equipment, software packages, business mentoring, and more. So to be in the draw to enter that, sign up to Digital Boost, and all you have to do is watch 2 videos between now and the 9th of October. Now, those are not going to be like a huge time resource for you. Just jump on. Some of the videos are only 2 or 3 minutes long, but of course you can choose to watch some of the longer ones. You might want to look at a real world story to look at what people are doing in your industry, but 2 videos and you're in that draw to win. Nice and simple. And that is also for existing Digital Boost users. So if you're already on Digital Boost, just jump in and watch 2 videos and you'll be in the draw automatically. Yes. Oh, I do realise we've just gone about 2 minutes over time. Sorry about that. We're a bit of a chatty bunch here today. So thanks so much for everybody for joining us. We do have our next session up at 1:45 where we're joined by the Ministry of Social Development. So please come along to that. Followed by the Inland Revenue at 2:30, and then the last session of the day at 3:15 is with Digital Boost on a more in-depth look at our platform and Checkable if you'd like to join us. But once again, thank you to the Amotai team, thank you Craig, and thank you to our audience who have joined us in the webinar or via our live stream. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Thank you again.